Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Daily Teachings. Before we start, quick disclaimer, anything you discuss is just for educational purpose only, nothing is a financial advice. Alright guys, another amazing day. Earning season continues. We had a bunch of winners today. Had a choppy loser on a Tesla, and after that we didn't touch it. But apart from that, amazing day. Crypto was a great to trade today. Silver was great to trade today. So I'm gonna teach you, if you're a new trader, how to do that as well, trading silver and crypto derivatives. And of course some magnet setups. There were some really good MTF cloud magnet setups. Need to know that. And we will also discuss holding your winners with the clouds. So a lot to discuss today, but again, it's a late video tonight, so I'm going to keep it fast. I'm going to try to go fast through everything. So let's start with a quick introduction for anybody who's new to our YouTube, new to our X accounts, or new to our community. Repeatable system. So we trade a repeatable system called Ripster EMA cloud system that thousands of traders across the world use to trade consistently. I've been teaching the system, which is not only my EMA cloud, my cloud indicators or any indicators I created, but also the concepts, the teachings that I've been teaching for day trading, swing trading, investing for over the years. So you can go to ripstereducation.com. You can see that thousands of lives have been changed with my free education. Now the same education, same concepts we use in our live private community that we trade in, Tanner Trade Group, which is one of the largest live trading online communities, where we trade this every day. We have what's the setup? So system, I already explained to you. Your trading system is how you trade. Setup is what you trade. So every morning, me and my team, we create this game plan for the day. We create the game plan, which includes the any stock which has news, earning plays, upgrades, downgrades, and of course the market. We make an initial plan. We have support level, we have resistance level, we have our MTF cloud indicator, we have a game plan. We follow the game plan. As per the rule, we change our bias. We have an initial bias, but we are ready. I highlighted the main plays as the red plays, and we are ready, and that's what we play all day long. In addition to that, we also trade something called day 2 day 3 strategy. Day 2 day 3 strategy was pretty good on some of the banks today. JP Morgan, Citigroup worked pretty good. So this is our day 2 day 3 strategy. I did a free webinar on this as well, but if you want to learn it, you can watch thousands of my recaps and short videos, and you will learn this strategy from there as well. Otherwise, we do have a dedicated webinar in the community. We also share the daily levels, so spike, QQQ indexes, MTF clouds. We do have share future. We trade futures in the community. We provide these futures levels which the traders can use to trade with Ripster cloud system and make living in the market with that. We trade crypto stocks. So today was a great day to trade crypto stocks because there was a news and it was bearish. We'll talk about that, but you would need this. This is the pre-market planning document, which helps the traders to trade that consistently. Of course, our live guidance in the community, as I said, one of the largest trading educational based live trading community. We have thousands of traders on our trading floor all day long sharing ideas. We have a lot of tools in the community. We have 3 option flow scanners, we have stock scanners, we have a MOC scanner, halt, unhalt, breaking news on audio, order flow, a lot of tools worth $500-600 a month, which are free for everybody who's in the community. So anyways, let's start with the recap. Hopefully you can learn these setups as well, and anybody, if you are in a community, hopefully you watch and you compare it to what I teach every day, compare it to the webinars and our documentation, so you could also be successfully trading these setups tomorrow. Let's start with the recap. All right, so let's start with the top play of the day, top earning play, because it's an earning season, so we focus on our earning play specifically. I should have a playlist about the earning plays, and it's very highly probable trades for us. We usually do pretty good with our setups. So the first trade we're going to take a look at is Taiwan Semi, support level provided here, resistance provided. The plan was to bullish bias to long on 512 calls, no go under 343, 342 area. So we're not planning to long it under here. Where you see this first red candle, we are not looking to long that because we do not know. It might flush all the way down here, so we are not looking to long that. You see this first candle, right? It's breaking our pivot level, and this is also called the amateur amateur trade. This is also called amateur trade. Now I told the no go right at the open, crap and crap. Now once it started to curl over here, the first candle, second candle right here, 950, when this candle opened over 950, this is where it confirmed the longs. I also was on voice. I also told the traders 512 longs confirmed over the trend line. The stops at 343. You put the stops at 343, you get in at 344. We took it all the way to 350, 351. How was that? I gave the first target 348. The next target I gave was 350. We hit all the targets there 350. So we took our profits there, and once we pulled back, and then again, you get back in again at this 512 curls. So I told the traders that we have a 512 curls once again right here. You can see that I told the traders curls 346, 50, and you buy, if you buy, even if you buy 100 shares, right, what you're risking $100, and it takes you back to 350, you're making $300. You buy the 100 shares in the morning trade, you're making $600. In trading options, you're taking 100%. And our next target was 352, but it kind of double topped at high of the days, and then I told the traders to exit it. So double top, bearish, breaking the 512, we exited it. And even if you could buy the puts here, short it, you can take it all the way down as well. You could also short it from the 350 break to the 343. That was a $7 per share short that you could take it all the way down. So you see, this is how you trade the gap and goes. You don't worry about a big gap. A lot of traders are worried about this. That's why we do not touch the first candle. You wait. If you short, of course, you're shorting here, you have a problem. If you short right away, you got a little bit dip of $4, but you need to get out as soon as the Ripster clouds curl right here. These are Ripster clouds curling, and that's how you trade it. And you see, that's how you plan, and you're ready. So a lot of traders literally killed the Taiwan Semi in the community today. It was an amazing day for the community. A really good day on the community today. So it was a beautiful day. One and done kind of trade here for a lot of our people on TSM. Let's go to the next one. All right, so next one we're going to look at is the banks. So we're going to look at a bunch of the banks. Banks were also reported yesterday. They were reporting pretty badly, but today there was Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs. So two top plays today, Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs. So let's see what they did. So as soon as the banks open, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan was our day 2 setup. We will talk about it later because it's a different setup. So Goldman Sachs, what was the game plan in the pre-market on the Goldman Sachs? Let's go take a look. The plan was 910 support, 920 resistance, testing 2021 MTF. Bearish under that, watch all the banks. But what happened? It bounced from that. It curled here. That's why it became a long here. And from there on, the Morgan Stanley ran up all the way, broke. So let's see, Morgan Stanley. So bounced, curled over the 1 hour MTF cloud, broke out of the pre-market highs, made a new all-time high. You see that new all-time high? So that's the breakout of, this is the breakout, this is the flag, new all-time high right here. So that as we moved higher, we moved the stops break even, so that's how you did it. The next bank was Goldman Sachs. Let's look at Goldman Sachs. So Goldman Sachs was also the curls right at the open. I told the traders the curl means long, so you got long on there on the 512 curls. So Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, I think I covered the opposite ones, but same thing. So we already covered the pre-market plan for Goldman Sachs. For Morgan Stanley, it was 179, 180, 150. Only long if all the banks strong. So the point is, all the banks were strong. You could literally take Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, and you could trade it. So because they were day 1 longs, and all of them really did good. Now, what was a JP Morgan? So let's look at the JP Morgan. So JP Morgan was another setup here. So JP Morgan was a day 2 long. It was good enough in the morning. It was a day 2 long. Let's look at the game plan on JP Morgan. It was one of the top day 2 longs, long over 309 and 512 calls. You see 512 calls. So we did get a push over 309. As in the pre-market plan, pushed to 312, and gave us a little $3 there. Citibank also did pretty good. That was also on our day 2 setup. I made a complete list on the banks. You could watch the previous videos from the last 2 days. Whenever the earnings season opens, it opens with the banks. Banks really report early, and that's how we start the earnings season. And so the plan on this other one, the Citigroup, was right here. This top day to play, long or 113.15, 512 calls, and Citigroup was also a long, just as per the plan. Now, some of the plans did not trigger, like Bank of America was bearish, so we did not touch it. Wells Fargo was choppy, so we did not touch it. So so these were our plays. Live guidance: JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Stanley, JP Morgan, Citigroup. Live guidance, voice guidance on that. All right, so let's go to the next one here. So what are we going to take a look at next one? So next one we're going to take a look at is, let's do the, all right, next one we're going to take a look at how we traded silver, right? So silver, let's go to silver. Do a little lesson here on silver. As we know, the silver is squeezing. There are many ways to trade silver. First of all, we have silver futures. You could trade these silver futures if you like. Silver futures, you can always trade silver futures. If you do not know how to trade futures, make sure you watch my webinar. Ninja Trader should be on YouTube, also in our webinar in the community, how to trade futures, the webinar on trading futures, making a living with futures, just like how we trade IES and NASDAQ futures. So we provide these levels in the futures as well, in the pre-market planning as well. Then we will also look at the ETF. So silver, support 89.90, 89.22, 89.95. So once those levels are clear, it became a long. But let's look at my guidance here. So you could also trade the silver ETF, which is SLV. That's what we are trading. You could also trade the leverage ETFs, which is AGQ, which is leveraged ETF, so it moves faster. That's what I like to trade. So let's look at the recap here. You can see my I gave it in the pre-market plan. The pre-market plan was provided to the traders. So pre-market plan was support at 79.50 on SLV, pivot 81, no long under the MTF clouds, right? So that all the planning was there, and I was on voice. Talking about silver long right at the open. The whole day was my silver guidance. So I told the traders holding the calls, you could long it, you put your stops at 81, you could trade AGQ with it. I'm just going to go to the screen, easier to recap from here. So I told the traders if I 12 calls to put a stop at 81, you can long it, and then even though it pulled back to the MTF, it created another cup and handle. So I mentioned cup and handle. So there was a cup and handle breakout, and then another one, then another cup breakout. You see, I bought this AGQ 244. I sold it most end of the day because it was a call right here. Silver AGQ, you could do that. There's something else you could trade here is ZSL. That what was it? Yeah, so was it ZSL or ProShares Ultra Short Silver? Yeah, so this goes down, this goes up when silver goes down. So whenever silver will dump, it'll be a good long. For right now it's just dumping because silver is going up, but you could trade these two. So always try to trade with leverage ETFs. You can trade options on SLV. If you're a big account, you can trade AGQ, which I usually like to trade, or you could trade futures. So whatever makes sense to you, because Ripster clouds work on silver, Ripster clouds work on futures, and you plan for it like the pre-market plan, just like I showed you, and you just take those trades, and for your lifetime you have repeatable strategies how to trade that. Same for gold. When gold is running, gold ETFs, gold average ETFs, the companies that have gold options on the gold ETFs, you could trade that, or gold futures, which of course we provide everything in the community. We do provide all of that. All right, so next one we're going to talk about here is crypto stocks, right? So crypto stocks, I'm going to go through all of them pretty fast here. This is our crypto list. Pay special attention to these levels of support: Coin 252, MSTR, CLSK, Mara, or we also have our other stocks which we provide in the pre-market planning. Of course, BMNR is top, Circle is top. These two are top plays whenever the crypto is moving, Ethereum and of course there's Coin. Okay, so what was the plan in the pre-market? The plan in the pre-market, pretty clear on Coin. Postpone the hearing. Senate postponed the hearing on a cryptocurrency bill. That's why crypto was swiping. Whenever there's a big news, you always need to pay attention, right? 250 level, 253. There's also MTF cloud here. As soon as it breaks it, you just need to short it. You just need to short it. I had told the traders that all of them are pretty good shorts. So Coin was short. Once it breaks the clouds, you take a short. Hood, once it breaks the MTF cloud, you take a short, right? The put. Hood was actually a huge winner because it dumped a big time today. Of course, Coin was dumping, and this was just a bearish day, right? You have to track the Bitcoins. Always track Bitcoin. I have watched my previous videos on crypto stocks. Always track Bitcoin when you're trading it. If Bitcoin is dumping pretty hard, and also we have a catalyst like we have today, Senate delayed the bill, you can have high confidence trade, right? And you could trade IBIT leverage ETF. You could buy the the puts on that. You could trade that if you want, or you could like I mentioned, Ethereum names, BMNR. Circle was pretty good today. You see that's how the Circle dumped initially. This MTF cloud tells you, right? And also the levels that I gave in the pre-market. So just need to short it. We were all over it. It was mostly a voice guidance because we were busy with our earning trades, but was definitely a very easy setup to trade today. Circle, definitely a good short in the morning, and also was a beautiful short later in the day. We'll be watching it tomorrow as well. We'll see how the Bitcoin does. Does Bitcoin stay strong or Bitcoin stays weak? So there will be our focus there as well. BMNR is also one of the cult stocks. Has a good range and good for small accounts to trade. Moves nicely up and down here. We'll be watching it as well tomorrow. See what kind of trend it gives. So that's how you trade silver. That's how you trade crypto. You trade the crypto stocks, you could trade, and the crypto ETFs. So let's go to the next one. All right, just want to look at Lily here. Lily always move big, but Lily was a special today. Now, why was it special? Lily was a MTF magnet setup, right? So you see FDA delays the weight loss drugs decision to April 10. Support 161, 166, resistance 168, 172. MTF clouds there. Trade versus daily MTF neutral to bearish bias, only long over 1070. So it never pushed over 1070, so it was bearish because it was breaking the MTF clouds right at that candle. You take the puts, you short the shares right away because your risk is right here. So closer to you short at the open, better your risk, right? If I'm shorting right here, let's say I short at 160, then I have a $7 stops. But again, on the $7 stops, I make a $50. That's a pretty good risk reward because it went from 165 all the way to 1012, right? Almost $55. So closer to that, you short, and it's breaking the pre-market lows. There is a news, and I gave the target of MTF magnet. So what does this mean? It always goes from one MTF to the next MTF. This is also called air gap. So when there's an air gap, the stock goes from one air gap to the next air gap as well. So that's the other kind of the level that we talk about when we are trading with our MTF clouds. This is one of the repeatable setups that I teach. I teach in our webinars. I have 2 webinars on the MTF clouds. Make sure you watch it. One there's a trend spider as well there. So it helps you hold. If I'm shorting Lily, I told the traders MTF magnet. I told them at 10 a.m. it was trading at 1040s. And by the time MTF, I gave the target of 1020 first target, and then of course is hitting the MTF magnet, right? So this was a lot of so you see a lot of traders in the community were short right away. Daisy Rodriguez called it Lily short right at the open, and pretty good job. Seamorph was on it, Renegade Trades was on it, the whole community, right? They know the system, they know the setups. Thousands of traders listening to me, but a lot of my old traders, they already know my teachings, what I'm going to say. So they already know I gave them the pre-market plan. They're already buying the puts. If you bought one put on Lily, even if you bought like 1,000, let's say you bought 1,030 or something like that. Let's say you bought 1,030, right? So that went from $2, $3 all the way to $18. So even if you had one for $3, you could $300 turn into $1,500. The key is not putting your whole portfolio in these options, right? If you're trading the options, of course you could short the shares, 100 shares, risking $700. You would make $2,000, $3,000 there as well. So there's different ways to trade them. Of course, another way to trade them is to trade leverage ETFs, Lily X. You could short and buy the puts on that. Those puts also would be good. So that's an MTF magnet setup. There was another MTF magnet setup today. Yeah, so Reddit was another MTF magnet. You could see it flushed from here to here, pop to this MTF and flush to the next MTF. So these are the MTF magnet setups, that they're really helpful for you to trade those magnet setups all the way down. So this is our MTF magnet setup. Whenever one MTF is broken, usually with other MTF acts as a magnet. We also call it as an air gap, and it's also defined as an air gap or the MTF magnet. The concept is the same. You can have different MTFs. So this is a standard MTF 20, 21 and 50, 55 on daily, but it's also 1 hour MTF acts as a magnet. You could use, traders try to use multiple EMA clouds, but these are the basic, the big ones. Of course you will have daily 512s and all those, but these are the three top big one MTF clouds that you could you could really use them to trade those tickers as well for these MTF magnet setups. You could also see this Amazon bouncing from the lower MTF to the upper MTF. Yesterday it bounced from the lower MTF, went to the upper MTF. So could also use for the swing trading as well, short-term overnight trades. So MTFs are so powerful that they act as those magnet setups there as well. All right, so next one we're going to discuss is SNDK. So let's take a look at SNDK. So what was an SNDK here? So SNDK, in the morning, I told the traders that watch the 400 psychological level. Watch for the 400 psych. What does that mean? You could trade it long versus 400. That's my teaching. You could literally make a living on it. There are hundreds and hundreds of videos and my tweets and recaps. This is my favorite one of my higher consistent setup that teach the newbies to start trading with that, right? So this SNDK was a gapping up trade versus 400. The game plan was to trade versus the 400. Simple concept of 400, right? What happened? Bounced right from 400. When you see this swiping, you take it long right away. Your stops at 400, you took it at 422. Even if you're 100 shares, 200 shares, you're making 4 grand on 200 shares. Options are going crazy. So SNDK, simple concept. Just wanted to cover it, right? And that's what I told the traders as well. Okay, so let's cover next one here. Next one we're going to cover our loser on Tesla. So this is important thing. People get mad. Oh, it's a pretty bad stock today. That's fine. It was on a chop today. Today was a chop day. If I hide these MTF clouds, I can show you what I mean here. I just want to take this MTF cloud out. Yeah. So what was it doing? It was in this range. We tried it long. Actually it gave us quite some time to get out green. So in the morning I told the traders to move long versus the MTF, right? It pulled back. You see this candle? Let me take this out. It pulled back. I said 9:30 I tell long it. It pulled back. You could long right here. Went to 444. Yeah, $2-3. It's a good scalp there, but the thing is we were looking for more. So our stops were 442. Once it broke down 442, we were out. It flushed, it broke down 441, but all day it just did that. Fake breakout, come down. Breakout, come down. You see, when you see this top wicks, you should be careful. So understand the chop, understanding when not to trade. This is not a trend. This is not a trend. The next talk we will discuss, that will be a trend. This is not a trend. Look at 30-minute chart. 30-minute candles are stuck between each other. This is not a trend, right? This is a trend. Lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. This is a trend. Lower highs, higher highs, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. This is a trend. So understand when there's trend, when there's no trend, stay away. You keep trying to trade this all day, losing money on trade like Tesla. Yes, it flushed at the end of the day. A range breakdown, which I teach you many times. Range breakdown showed you could take it, but there was no reason to waste your time all day long on this bar coding that was happening right there. All right, so that was Tesla. Let's go to the next one. So Rocket Lab and ASTS were two top runners for us. Rocket Lab and ASTS both are part of my 2026 investing theme. I've talked about enough, from this January top leading names, big investment for 2026, number one plays, ASTS, Rocket Lab, hard themes, making the big top themes. I mean, everybody, I think it's the whole Twitter is all right. Everybody knows it. But because of the SpaceX IPO next year, the space stocks are pretty hyped up. So anyways, ASTS, pretty bullish chart, trying to break out all-time highs today. Also 100 psychological level. Rocket Lab, pretty bullish chart. Some other day we'll do a video and discuss about all their fundamentals, what they do. We'll have to do a separate video on that. But so that was Rocket Lab and ASTS. Let's look at their plan. ASTS is long over 95.55. That was the plan on ASTS. Let's find a plan for what was our plan for the Rocket Lab. Let's take a look here. Rocket Lab downgraded, bullish to neutral, no go under 89.50. All right, so those are our plans here, but it was great guidance by RGV today on Rocket Lab here. So Rocket Lab initially was bearish, but it gave you a long right here, 512 clouds, here, that was a long. ASTS was all day long, because always look at the chart, the bullish chart, right? You'll get long right here, breaking on 96. And just it's a little choppy. You just have to hold the 512 clouds. Once it breaks 100, it's gonna go higher. You already know that. Once it breaks 100, it's gonna go higher. That's a 100 breakout, I told the traders. And I think on the Rocket Lab, I gave the traders the target of 92 here, because it was a previous high. So always look, when you're looking for the targets, you look at the previous highs. You look at the average daily range. Those are the things you look for. You look for the resistance on the chart. You could see I gave the 92 target here on Rocket Lab, and Rocket Lab held our target. And great calls by the traders as well. Reward management in the community was called out pretty nicely. The whole community was on ASTS. Everybody knows this is one of our top stock. RGV took over on ASTS over 8 points from 96 entry. And yeah, just a beautiful day, and it was beautiful trades today here. So hopefully you guys learned a lot. Take care. Tata. Bye bye.